Well, welcome back to the studio. This is part 6, I think, of the commission series. Today, I'm going to look at what I did yesterday, which I left feeling pretty good about, and now I'm not so sure. So there'll be probably quite a bit of sitting and staring at this and maybe messing around a bit. Maybe not. I won't film that because watching me have anxiety about what I just did probably isn't all that interesting to watch. So I will turn on the cameras if I figure something out. And if not, I'll just, I don't know, paint some sky or something. So let's get to it. All right, well, big day of changes, starting out with using a solvent-soaked rag to get rid of 5 hours of work from the day before. I just couldn't do these geometric shapes, especially with the foreground stuff. It just wasn't working. It needs to have trees in the front, and I just really tried to figure out a way around it, but I couldn't. So trees, lots and lots of individual trees. So it's really going to be slow going for a while here, and this entire part 5 is going to be painting trees, but I'm going to try to speed things up. I think there's about 15 hours of tree painting in these 3 parts in this video, so I'm not going to put anyone through that except for me. So it really does take quite a bit of time and just fiddling around. It's very slow going, but it is what it is. And the worst part of it is that I'm going to have to do it 3 or 4 times, because just going over once just barely gets me an idea of what things are. I'm going to have to actually go and paint over each individual tree about 3 times to get the shape and color and that kind of thing going. So that's something to look forward to. One thing that you might notice here is I'm actually sitting, because I found that normally I stand, but I found that the bending over to do these low parts was just killing my back. So I'm sitting on an office well, it's a drafting chair actually. It's kind of nice because it moves up quite a bit more than an office chair does. It was a really good purchase, pretty cheap too. And yeah, now adding a little bit of highlight to the trees, just to, again, sort of define the shapes of them, but really they need a lot more defining. We'll get to that. And there you go, you can see how slow this goes. Not super enjoyable, I have to say, but listening to some good podcasts and stuff, it's what you gotta do. I also worked on the mountains, just taking the geometric out of those as well, because once I went to the trees, I just had to move away entirely from that. The geometrics just didn't make sense once I went to the full-on painting the trees, because it sort of mixes the styles, and it just wasn't going to work. So back to more naturalistic mountains, and I'll be painting those after I'm done the trees. And that's the end of day 8. Okay, welcome back to the studio. It is day 2 of part 5, which makes it day 9, I think, on the piece. Big changes last day. Guess was Friday, I guess. Didn't work on the weekend. But big changes happened. Pretty pleased with them. I was hoping that I would get away with not having to paint 1 million trees, but that's just what this painting needed. The geometric stuff worked up to a point, but anytime you have that in the foreground, it wasn't working. If it was all just trees in the back here, I probably could have got away with it. I would have got away with it. But because we've got foreground stuff that's really close, having that geometric stuff just didn't work, especially for this piece. So, yeah, we're going to paint a lot of trees. I have till the end of April to get this finished. So if I'm painting trees for a month, I'm painting trees for a month. I don't think it'll take that long, but let's get started. So, yeah, back at it. More trees. I don't know what to tell you. There's a lot of trees. Yeah, it's really, I was hoping to get away with geometric stuff because they are a lot easier, but it just, as I've mentioned probably several times before, it just wasn't working. So, but they did give me a good base for painting the trees. So I've got some hills and some different shadow underpainting shadows, so we can work that. And again, this was, I think this one was close to 5 hours of just painting mostly trees here. So I've sped up a lot of this and I've cut out a lot because it's really not very interesting to watch. But I also do like people to understand that this is a slow process. These pieces can take a long, long time. And a lot of people, when they see a finished work of art, they just say, oh, look at that. And it just sort of shows up from nowhere. And it really doesn't. There's, hundreds of hours in some work. And it's, I think, good to show that process because it maybe makes you think a little bit more when you see a piece of art. See what the artist has gone through. Like 15 and a half hours of painting trees, something like that. Not that, I'm complaining or anything, maybe a little. But we're almost done this day, and we're just going to film on this little section, and that'll be it. Hey everyone, welcome back to the studio. It's part 3 of part 5, so I think that makes it day 10 today. It's a Tuesday. Yesterday we did trees, a lot of trees. Not nearly enough trees because I got a whole bunch more trees to do, like all of those trees. So I think we'll do that today. The thing about these trees is they're going to take a lot more work than what I've just got here. I can't just leave them as they are. So they're going to be a lot more hours painting trees. But I want to get all of the trees on to the canvas. And then I'll work on some more interesting stuff, and then go back later and work on the trees some more. But I want to get most of the trees done today. So let's get to it. And here we go, finishing up well, actually we're not finishing. There's one more day of doing this, I just remembered. So, actually, more like 20 hours of trees. So that's fun. But we get a lot done in this day, get most of the other side done. And then we can start looking forward to doing other things. Once this is done, I'm going to work on the rocks, I think, and that more defining the middle section, which will be more fun. This is just tedious work. I'm liking the way it looks. There's, like I said, the trees are going to need a lot more work, which means a lot more time on them, but I have till April, so I guess if I'm painting trees for another 2 weeks. And it's basically been an entire week of painting trees this week. I did yesterday. I'm a little bit ahead of where I'm at in the videos here. So yesterday I got some other stuff done, which was really nice. And we're just adding trees into this area up here. Little tiny brush strokes, very slow. I actually sped up the time lapse because even the time lapse on this was about 15 minutes long, so way too long for this kind of thing. that's about it for day 10, I think. All right, that's it for part 5 of this video series. If you haven't seen the other videos in the series, I've got a playlist up here somewhere. It goes right from building and stretching the canvas all the way up to where we're at today. If you want to see where it's going after today, be sure to subscribe. Click the bell to be notified when I upload a video, usually on Saturdays, but that can change depending on how things are going. So that's a good way to know when it comes up. Also, I'd love to hear any comments you have, and certainly a like would help the channel. That would be great. And that's about it for this one, and we'll talk to you next time.